season is getting underway here, going live over that green light, baby. We are on. Hey guys, how you going today on BKRsport? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It is NRL season, baby. We are here for round one of the NRL this weekend. Obviously, 2 days' time, we'll be going live for the Eels versus the Melbourne Storm game. I'm so excited, man, as you guys would all be bloody deadly excited as well. But my goodness me, you know, obviously it's been a good, 5-6 months now since, well, I guess the Rugby League World Cup was on, so 4 or 5 months now, since we've had real solid Rugby League content. But now, 2 days' time, we are getting underway with the NRL season proper. Obviously, yesterday you guys saw my NRL season predictions. Love that you guys all really appreciated the Titans being in the top 8. That was great. You see my Instagram, it's been quite funny. You know, but it is what it is. Obviously, I'm going to back my team in regardless. Don't really give a shit otherwise. But today, guys, we're going to be going through all the team lists that I've obviously dropped here today, plus also doing my tips. So if you guys aren't in the BKRsport Tipping League, I probably should drop that link. I'll drop that link at some point here. I should probably do it in a moment. Yeah, I'll do it in a moment. I'll drop the tipping league code any moment now. But you're going to go through all the team lists, plus also give my predictions and talk to you guys in the chat in between. You guys know how it's going to go here. I'll do my spiel. I'll do my, I guess, preview, and then we'll see what you guys are saying about in each individual game. Now, don't forget, guys, there is a bye this weekend. There is a bye for the St. George Illawarra Dragons. People are forgetting that there is one team that will miss every single week this year. It's not like normal where you won't see any byes until like round 11 or so. This year it is from the very, very start, because we do have an uneven amount of teams because the Redcliffe Dolphins are now in the competition. So fortunately or unfortunately for the Dragons, they do get the first week bye, which does actually kind of give a leg up to the opposition because they have that 1 week extra back in the rhythm of it. But then again, you get the free 2 points. But then again, because the season now has 17 teams, you're not actually in the top 8 with a bye, right? Because there will be 8 teams that win. So no matter what, you're still not going to be in the 8. Dragons fans, unfortunately. Usually you'd be like, you'd still make 8th. But it's just you're not in the top 8. So that's the only kind of housekeeping I guess we have to really do there. Guys, obviously smack that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new around here. Really appreciate you guys lately, especially with that Sports Show TV charity match on Saturday, which was a major, major success. It was a great time there with all the lads. Very, very good. There was no bullshit, no problems, no nothing. Every single bloke there put in a massive effort, bloke or female, you know, either way. Everyone who was involved was just absolutely exceptional. And anyone who was there on the day, I appreciate you guys obviously coming up and saying hello, taking photos and whatnot. But everyone who was there on the day and watched the stream just knows how great of an event that was. So really looking forward to hopefully that happening again next year. But guys, let's see what you guys say in the chat. Before I do get into my tips here. If you are watching this after the live stream has gone live, then do know I'm going to go through and I'm going to put the timestamps for each individual game, so you don't have to necessarily watch the whole, hour and a half if we do go for that long. I have no idea how long we're going to go here. But guys, like I said, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here, and let's see what you guys are saying. We got Toxic Ant-Man, the chat, Big Third last is Titans top 4. Well, you better hope so, because you're going to be streaming by yourself this Sunday, eh? Thank you very much, Wildred, for joining the BK Army there. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I think Colin as well did it before. So I appreciate you guys becoming members there. But Ant-Man, you better hope the Titans do well, because you've got the stream all to yourself on Sunday, son, because I will be at Leichhardt. So good luck, my friend. Brighton says, I don't like saying this, but Para could smoke him. We will get into it in a moment. TJC Sports says, the footy's almost back. Absolutely. Rice Zen says, best feeling I've had about the Titans for a long time. Who? Ignore the haters, baby. They're going to come regardless. Ignore the haters. Keep the receipts. That's what I'll say. Keep the receipts, baby. The Dragons says, you go. Appreciate you, brother. X says, that's a trick question. Poll Titans wouldn't be an upset. Incorrect, actually. You'll see, I'll scroll down here. You'll actually see that the Titans are the underdogs. They are the underdogs. They're $2.05. They were $2.07, so I don't know where the 2 cents come from there. But they were actually not favourites until never. They might have been at one stage, but they're not favourites right now, so it's not actually a trick question. It's just Sportsbet being silly. Being a bit silly. Being a little bit silly here, the old Sportsbet. Being a little bit silly. Hey, Dubster Charles, how you doing? Vernon Snake says, 23-3, anything can happen. Genuinely can't be confident with any prediction. And Nawaka says, will Dragons beat the bye, though? Oh, I just noticed that, Jay, sorry. Will Dragons beat the bye, though? It's a good question. That is a very, very good question. I'm not too sure. Matt McGrath says, are any of the charity match players different on camera than they are different off camera than they are on camera? I wouldn't say so. I thought everyone was a fantastic bloke. Every single person was a fantastic bloke, and obviously it was a very busy day. So, everyone put in a good effort and great shift, and it was just fantastic to meet everybody. Absolutely. THC Sports says that Sports Show TV match was incredible. Toxic Gamer says, God help me. Exactly right, mate. God help you. Up the Dragon says, I hope the Titans beat the Dragons so you can unblock me on Insta. I did say that I'd unblock you on Insta if the Titans beat the Dragons. But guys, let's get into the first game here so that we're not just kind of rattling on here. We can chat for a little bit afterwards if you guys want. But the first game here is going to be the Eels versus the Melbourne Storm. Now, I haven't actually had a look at any of these team lineups yet, so this is actually... Well, I've seen the Titans one, obviously, but I haven't looked at anybody else, so it's going to be interesting to see how these ones go. So, obviously, for the Eels, their first team lineup, Clinton Guston as their captain as the fullback, Micah Sivo, Bailey Simonson on the wings. You've got Will Penasini and Wonga Blake in the centres, with Dylan Brown and Mitchell Moses in the halves. Regan Campbell-Gillard, Junior Paulo front row, Josh Hodgson in the 9, obviously comes across from Kemper Raiders there, also coming off a big injury from last year, so it'll be interesting to see if he can fill the boots of Reid Marnie, who did a really good job there at Parramatta. Bryce Cartwright, interesting selection here, into the back row with Matt Dory. So their back row is seeming a little bit weak there. And then Jermaine Hopgood is the lock, who's a big bowler who came across from the Panthers in the off-season. The interchange, Jerome Masia, Jack Murchie, Weremu Grieg, and Makahesi Makatoa, with the reserves being Arthur Rodwell, Oheki Ogden, Mitch Rain, and Isaac Lume. So that's the pattern about the Eels team. Moving over to the Melbourne Storm there, Nick Meaney's the fullback, Will Warbrick, who I called, by the way, guys, none of you guys even knew who William Warbrick was. But I did about a month and a half ago with Sammy Revel. About a month ago, Sammy Revel and I, we put out a video of our breakout players, and I had Will Warbrick as my breakout player for the Melbourne Storm in 2023. We had no idea he was going to get a crack even in the trials, or especially not to start this season. But he is getting that starting winning spot for the time being. So absolutely fantastic call there. And Xavier Coates is on the other wing. Young Tom Apia, interesting there in the centre with Remus Smith. They go to the halves. Cameron Munster's the 6, Jerome Hughes 7. Nelson Solomono and Christian Walsh in the front row. Harry Grant is the number 9. Trent Loiero and Eliezer Katoa in the back row. That's a bit shaky. And then Josh King as the lock is also a little bit shaky there. So their forwards, their back row and their lock is looking a little bit shaky this week. But then again, I guess it equals out because of the Bryce Cartwright, Matt Dory. But I do have Jermaine Hopgood being able to do more than Josh King. Tyron Wishart, Alec McDonald, Chris Lewis, and Jordan Grant are the interchange, with Grant Anderson, Bronson Garlic, Sualavi Falongo, Joe Chan, and Jonah Pezzett as the bench there. So, in regards to my prediction here, I do believe that the Eels are going to be a better team than the Storm this year. Obviously, round 1 is a very difficult round to predict, because obviously these teams are coming in off the break. You have to assume who's looking the better coming into the season, I guess. And we obviously don't really know a great deal about how teams are going to progress into the season until after maybe round 5, round 6. So it is a relative shot in the dark. With that being said, I do believe Parramatta are going to have the ability to do this here. Parramatta have a really good record against Melbourne, especially in the last 2 years or so. Before that, Melbourne always used to beat them. But the last couple of years, it really has been Parramatta getting the victory over the Storm. Not necessarily at the crunch, but they have been doing it throughout the regular season quite frequently. At CommBank here, I'm really nervous about this Melbourne Storm team this year. The only thing that changes my mind potentially about the Storm going into 2023, because I did obviously tip them in 9th, as you guys would have seen in the video yesterday. The other thing that concerns me now about that prediction is that Craig Bellamy has announced he's going to retire at the end of this year, so it's going to be very difficult for me to see the Storm actually not making the 8 now and not doing bad if Craig Bellamy obviously is not going to be there next year. This will be his swan song, so it could actually be the one where they go and win it now after I filmed that video yesterday. I just feel like the Eels are going to have it here, especially at home. I thought they were great in the preseason when they played. I thought they were great in the preseason when they played the Newcastle Knights. With the full team there, that looks really, really clean and cool. Mitchell Moses looked like he was absolutely firing there. I'm not exactly the biggest believer in Parramatta overall, going long term, but I definitely do believe they're going to be a really quality team this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can produce here. If they don't win this game, I still think I think it's going to be a very close game regardless. I just feel like maybe the Eels, who have still been progressing, people haven't really been talking about this, but this Eels team have still been making ground regardless of their loss in the grand final last year. They kept on moving. They got knocked out of straight sets, and then they got to the game against They got knocked out in straight sets, and then they made, I think, maybe a prelim or something like that, and now they're in the grand final. Did they make the prelim? No, they made the grand final last year. Did they make the prelim the year before that against the Panthers? No, maybe that was the week before. I'm not sure, but the point of the matter is the Eels are still progressing. Do I think they win the comp this year? No, I still think that there are better teams around that will be able to be there in September. But overall, Eels go into this game against the Storm. I like them as the underdog. I really do. I like them as the underdog, especially considering that this is a really untested backline here. For the most part, Xavier Coates had a lot of injury last year. Will Warbrick is a debutant, obviously. Nick Meaney, not the greatest fullback. Remus Smith is a great centre, but young Tom Papia is very, very shaky. And compare that to Clint Gutherson, very safe back in the fullback there. Marcus Sivo, one of the best wingers in the competition. Simonson, Wonga Blake, but Will Penasini is a very good centre there. So I do back in that backline there. To be completely honest with you. Appreciate your Slapper member for 1 month. Queen Gutho was a cat. Well, we're not going to disagree with that one either. We are not going to disagree with that one either there, sir. And then when it comes to the forwards there, I do think it kind of equals itself out. I do think this area here, this 8, 9, and 10 for the Storm do probably, especially with the Harry Grant over Hodgson, the forwards actually relatively equal themselves out, but I still would maybe lean that. I might actually say that's a wash because the two front rowers for the Eels I have as better than the two front rowers for the Storm. And you guys know how much I respect Christian Welch and Nelson Asafa-Solomona. Back row there. Oh, God, I don't know. I really don't know. That's a wash. But then I got the lock there for Jermaine Hopgood. So I'm going to go Eels 1-12 there at home. Tough matchup to predict to start off with. But I think it'll be a really good game. I think it'll be a really, really good game. All right, let's go have a look at what you guys are saying in the chat. North Viking Kings to Titans for my top 8. I love it. We're not at that game yet, but I appreciate it. Other Dragons, we will lose to the bye. What? Fair enough. Knox Corvus says Eels. Go on the Eels there. Brighton says Squeal. Queen Gutterbloke. Wilter says Duffer Charles says honestly Storm because that never lost a round 1 game for like 20 years. That's a great point. That's a very good point that I skipped over there. The Storm haven't lost a round 1 game in like 20 years. You know, records are made to be broken. I'm going to throw it out there. Records are made to be broken. I'm not going to back away from my tip just because of that, but in the same sense, that is a very good point. So if you guys are making a bet on the game, be very careful because they have not lost a game in round 1 for like 20 years. Rice says Eels 4-pack seems really solid. Back row is a little bit worrying though. Newtown Jet says big. That's right. Medvedev says, normally all teams will start off rusty. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of errors. Of course, it's round 1, man. You know, it's round 1. We'll still... That's why preseason is so important. We saw with the Roosters last year against the Knights. They didn't play any of their starters in the preseason, and, you know, they lost to the Knights, who finished, I think, second last year. So, yeah, it's... it's something that the preseason is very, very important for, and round 1 is still kind of, you know, transitioning out of that preseason into the regular season. Toxie MSS Storm haven't lost since round 1 since turn 1. TWT Sports, I'm tipping the Eels. If there was ever any opportunity for Storm to lose round 1, it's now. I guess I would agree. Yeah, I guess I would agree. New South Wales Eels knocked out straight sets 3 years in a row. Okay, but they made the grand final last year. Those Storm edge forwards. Yeah, I know. Elias Katoa could be anything this year, but in the same sense, I'm not willing to risk it this early, if you know what I'm saying. Updated Supercoach reveal. I haven't really got much time left now, but I'll do that maybe tomorrow. I'll put the wingers tier list out with Hector Fred tomorrow, then maybe afterwards we'll jump on live for a little bit. Ellie Katoa most improved for the Storm this year. Book it. Wonga Blake over 10 knock-ons, and there we go. So, okay, so let's get into the next game now. So I have tipped Zip Batamata Squeals. Obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. And if you do like this kind of live stream chat that we do here for the tipping, let me know. Otherwise, I can put it into a normal video, which goes for about 20 minutes instead. But the next game here we do have is the New Zealand Warriors versus the Newcastle Knights. Now, this is a really, really tough game to predict because both teams I'm not predicting to do too well in 2023. The Warriors obviously do get their home games back. This is going to be at Sky Stadium in Wellington. And it's against the Knights team that just looked dreadful in the trials, really. But let's go into the two-team lineups here, guys. So, Charles Clockstar is the fullback. We had a bit of confusion whether he was going to be the guy there at the fullback, maybe Tamari Martin, maybe even Luke Metcalf at some stage, people thought. But it is Chancellor Clockstar who is the fullback. Dallin Martinez-Selesniak and Marcelo Montoya on the wings. Solid wing pairing there. And Braden Williame and Adam Pompey in the centres. Not a great centre pairing, to be completely honest with you. 5'8" is Tamari Martin with Sean Johnson the 7. Obviously, I believe Sean Johnson is done and should move on. But then again, Luke Metcalf is injured, so I can definitely agree. And I knew they would have gone this way anyway, but I still believe Luke Metcalf probably 6, Tamari Martin 7, because I think Sean Johnson, he's lost that step, man. Adam Fanor, Blake and Mitchell Barnett is the front row. Wade Egan is the number 9. Jackson Ford and Marata Niokore in the back row, and then Tohu Harris as the lock and the captain. Dylan Walker, Bunty Arthur, Josh Curran, and Tom Ale. Surprised that Tohu Harris isn't starting proper alongside Adam Fiddle-Blake with Josh Curran in the lock. But that's at least a little bit of good depth there for the Warriors, and maybe Josh Curran can provide that spark off the bench. Bunty Arthur, I think he's relatively useless off the interchange, but with that being said, they've got a really good depth there in that front row area right now. Reserves, Viliami Valea, Freddie Lussick, Ronald Volkman, Tane Tuolpiki, and Edward Kossi is the reserves there. Moving over to the Newcastle Knights, we've got Lockie Miller as the number 1, the fullback, obviously came across from the Cronulla Sharks. Heimel Hunt and Dominic Young on the wings with Anara Tuala and Bradman Best in the centres. Very high attacking team there in the back line. Not much defense going on there at all, though. Callum Ponga obviously moved to the 1 to the 6 this year. He's the captain in the 5'8", with Jackson Hastings from the Tigers comes into that halfback role. Daniel Saifidi and Jacob Saifidi is the front row. Jaden Brayley is the number 9. Tyson Frizzell, Lachlan Fitzgibbon in the back row, and then Kurt Mann is the lock. You've got interchange, Phoenix Crossland, Adam Elliott, Jack Hetherington, and Leo Thompson. Interesting that Adam Elliott is on the bench there instead of Kurt Mann. I feel like Kurt Mann's probably a little bit more of an enigmatic player that can come off the bench and provide a bit of a spark rather than him starting with Adam Elliott coming off the bench, but it is what it is. Reserves there, Jack Johns, Tyson Campbell, Brodie Jones, Dylan Lucas, and Bailey Hodgson. So, yeah, they did decide... Oh, that's right. Yeah, Lockie Miller did sign there. So, that is the two-team lumps there. For me, this is a really, really tough game to predict because I want to go the Warriors because obviously it's in New Zealand. This is really a shot in the dark, really. This is really a shot in the dark. Warriors are favourites here. I think that both teams are pretty equal to each other, but I possibly might lean with the Warriors here because I feel like their forward pack... Oh, no, but their forward pack is well-rounded here for the Knights, though, too. No, I'm going to go the Warriors. I'm going to go the Warriors, but it's a tough one, man. I could definitely see the Knights winning this game, too. I really could. I could see either team winning it, but I'm going to give the home ground advantage. The first game back there this season. There's got to have to come to a point where we stop saying, oh, Warriors get to go home now because they've been back for, I think, 3 or 4 games now. And I think they lost 3 out of those 4 when they went back. Titans, they definitely lost to. Storm, they lost to. Maybe the Roosters, I'm not too sure. But they played 3 or 4 games at the back end of last year and actually lost majority of them. And I don't think their team has actually improved a great deal since then. So, yeah, I will take the Warriors here 1-12, but I could see this going literally either way. All right, let's have a look at some of you guys in the chat. D-Mate says, I'm a Storm fan. I'm pretty sure we lost round 1 a couple of years ago. No, there's a stat. It's 20 years in a row, whatever it is. Dasmate says 3 years in a row. Man's living in 2021. Warriors to win, Newtown Jet says. Yeah, Dasmate says 50-50 game. James McPaul says prefer the lie, to be honest. Lerm says, it's rough being a Tigers fan. I want them to win and like the height. Basically saying the Titans will win here, but use that later when we talk about the Titans game. We'll talk about the Titans-Tigers game a little bit later. Knox Cooper's going for the Warriors. Not a match I would want to see. I'll pick Warriors winner. We will be live for every game this week. Every game, and I won't be live for 2 of them, but it will be Antonio who'll be jumping on the stream for the Titans game and the Roosters-Dolphins game. City Lamb says, I live in Dallas, but damn, those New Zealanders are real dogs for a real easy W for Warriors. I thought for a second he was insulting New Zealand there for a moment, but he's not. He's actually saying that they're real dogs. They're good. Easy win W for the Warriors. I don't know about that, but I'm more confident in them to win that game than I am the Knights, especially considering I do have the Knights, I think, in 3rd last. I think I've put on my predictions video. Northern Viking King says Johnson needs to retire. I think that he needs to work within the club. I think right this year, at least having this depth, and obviously he's going to start there for the time being, but I do believe that when Luke Metcalf comes back, maybe switch around those halves. Tahi Bros, I think the team around Johnson will help him. They're all vets. I hope so, brother. I hope so. I think that Johnson, and I said this many times in my streams, I think Johnson is a guy that has really relied on that step, that elusiveness, that pace, that change of pace really quickly. He doesn't have that anymore. He doesn't have it anymore. So I hope you're right, mate, but I just don't necessarily see it happening. Zane Potter says, boys, I'll make a deal with you. If the Titans win the comp, I'll give you vanilla Coke for the rest of me life. Well, that's just I don't want either of those because the Titans are going to win the comp, but I don't want the vanilla Coke for the rest of your life. So I don't want either of the winnings there. No. Mevin says, I'll just pick Warriors because of home advantage as well. Northern Viking King says, Johnson's never been a half since 2011. Johnson's been very good up until about 2 years ago. Marianne Solomon says, only because I believe we have the better back row Warriors 1-12. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it there. Realistically, Johnson hasn't been good since around 2019. Yeah, no, Sharkies days he was good. No, he was good at the Cronulla Sharks 2-3 years back, which I guess is relative. No, 2020 he was. Yeah, I think 2020 was his last year there. Or was it? No, 2021 I believe was his last year. Last year he went back to the Warriors, if I'm not mistaken. Remember, Zane knows all well. He knows why. Zane Potter was in the charity event. He's taking the piss, mate. He knows how much I hate bloody vanilla Coke. He's lucky he doesn't get timed out. He's very, very, very lucky he doesn't get timed out there. But there we go, guys. So let's move on now to the next game, which is the Friday night bolter between the Penny Panthers and the Brisbane Shimonkos, the Brisbane Broncos here in Penrith. Now, this is also the game that you have to predict the margin in on the NRL tipping. So the Panthers versus Broncos game. By the way, guys, don't forget, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Panthers Broncos. Panthers are $1.31. Broncos $3.46. I find that quite outrageous odds there, that $3.46. To be completely honest with you, I think it should be shorter. However, I do still have the Panthers as pretty clear favourites, but I still don't know why it would be that much. Considering. Panthers here, Dylan Edwards is the fullback with Sunga Toruva, Tosoviti, and Brian To'o on the wings, Isaac Tungo and Stephen Crichton in the centres. Sunga Toruva obviously comes in for Taylor May, who's injured for the season. For your record, by the way, guys, tomorrow on the Wingers tier list, we filmed that before Taylor May was injured, so just keep an eye out for that one. Jerome Luai is the 6 with Nathan Cleary, the captain, in the 7. Moses Leota and James Fisher-Harris are the front row with Mitch Kenny in the number 9. You've got Luke Garner, Liam Martin, back row, Isaiah Yeo as the lock. Sonny Luke, Scotty Sorensen, Spencer Leniu, and Jamie Salmon as the interchange. I believe at some point this season, it might be quite quick, that Sonny Luke will actually start over Mitch Kenny. You've got the reserves there, Zach Hosking, Matthew Eisenhuth, Tyrone Peachy, Jack Cogger, and Lindsay Smith. So a pretty, straightforward Panthers team there. Obviously, really going to miss out Bissau Sal this year, and they're really hoping that Luke Garner can be the next Viliami Kikau. But we'll see if that happens there. Next over to the Brisbane Shimonkos. Selwyn Cobbo is the fullback. Selwyn Cobbo. Here we go. Broncos, they're moving it around. But Selwyn Cobbo is a great fullback. I don't know if he translated there when he got a crack last year. I don't think he did too well. But overall, he originally is actually a fullback when he was playing for, I think it was Wynnum Manly Seagulls. On the wings there, Corey Oates and Jesse Arthurs. So, Jesse Arthurs, I don't really back in too much as a winger there. That's a little bit disappointing, but it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Herbie Farnworth and Tony Staggs in the centres. Herbie obviously going to the Dolphins next year, but he still will be with the Broncos this year. Ezra Memphis the 6, with the halfback being the captain Adam Reynolds. Let's see how many games he can go through before he has to be time managed. Front row is Corey Jensen and Payne Haas. I don't mind Corey Jensen. A lot of people don't recognise him, but Corey Jensen is a solid front row forward, with Muppet Man Billy Walters in the number 9. Kurt Catewell and Jordan Ricky are in the back row. Patrick Carrigan is the 13, with Corey Pags, Ken Palacia, Thomas Flegler, and Martin Tapau as the interchange. Obviously, Tapau coming from Manly. Dean Mariner, Brendan Piakura, Xavier Willison, Jock Madden, and Deloise Holter are the reserves there. Look, I think look at that team list, the odds make sense now. I do. I think that the Panthers beat them pretty much everywhere in the park right now. Sunga Toruva and Brian To'o will beat out Corey Oates and Jesse Arthurs. Isaac Tungo and Stephen Crichton. Oh, that's a close matchup actually with Staggs and Farnworth. I'll give that a bit of a wash. Dylan Edwards beats out someone coming the fullback. The 5'8 and halfback for the Panthers beats out the 5'8 and the halfback for the Broncos. Front row, I think overall speaking, Fisher Harris and Leota beat out Jensen and Payne Haas, but Payne Haas is also is the best out of all 4 of those in my opinion. Mitch Kenny and Billy Walters is a wash, but I'd still give it to Mitch Kenny. Luke Garner and Liam Martin, Kurt Catwell, Jordan Ricky. I still give that to Panthers, and then I will go Yo over Carrigan, obviously, but Carrigan is still very good. The benches, I would probably say, leans with the Panthers as well. Look, I'm going to go... I feel like the Panthers are going to want to make a statement here as well. I really do. Look, I think that realistically, you should be tipping Panthers 1-12. However, when I say that, the Panthers obviously copped a lot of slack. They copped a lot of slack for their game against St. Helens. And I feel like they're going to want to really make a statement and prove that they're still the defending champions. They're back-to-back defending champions, actually, I should say. They are at home where they don't usually lose. I could see it being Panthers by 14. I could. But with that being said, I think the Broncos do still have a solid enough team, but they have mixed it up a little bit. I'm obviously going to tip the Panthers here. That's 3 home teams, so I hate doing that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it. Yeah, I am. Oh, no. Yeah, I am. I'm going to put 14 Panthers. I don't want to do it because I feel like the Broncos are better than that. I do. I feel like the Broncos are better than that. But there are a couple players missing for them. There really is. There is a couple of players missing for the Broncos. And the team list is a little bit different to what I would expect for them for the most part of the season. So I think this is a baptism by fire to start the year for Brisbane, especially in Penrith. And especially after that St. Helens game for the Panthers. So I'll go the Panthers by 14, but I know they're going to win. I feel like if they're going to win, it's just that might be a little bit too much, though. All right, let's have a look at what you guys say in the chat. Newtown Jets' Broncos getting all the primetime games as usually. Well, of course it is, man. They've got a one-team city. Everyone's going to tune in for the Broncos. You know, it is what it is. You know, a lot of people also complain about the Warriors getting all the 6 p.m. games. It's like there's a reason for that. It's because that's the prime time over there in New Zealand. You know, there's only one team over there, and that's not great time for us here. So that's why the Warriors always get those 6 p.m. games. Wood says, oh, look, a Bronco game on a Friday. Who would have thought? No. Titans get a lot of Sunday games this year, actually. Knox Corpus says, riff easily. Bulldogs 2023 Premier says Broncos have a chance. They have a chance. But I think it's very, very slow. I don't think they can win this game. I don't know. I just don't think the Broncos can win this game. But I do think they can be up for it. Maybe the Panthers draw it out late. Maybe they pull away a little bit later, which is kind of what they did last year, actually. Yeah, Walsh is hurt. No, I know Walsh is hurt, Brighton. I know they haven't put someone over Walsh there. I'm just saying that obviously that's mixing it up, and I don't really like the old mixing of the old up. Kepman says, I don't know, but I feel like we can upset the Panthers with their losses that they had. Might take a round or two to get going, so it's the best time to play them. I think it's not the best time to play them. No, I think that you would have preferred them not to get effectively humiliated by St. Helens, effectively. Not score-wise, but result-wise. Jack says, I mean, Selwyn Cobbo can sort of play fullback, but he's a better winger because he can put the ball down. He can put the ball down, but as you guys will find out tomorrow on the wingers tier list, Hectic Fred gave me a stat. He averages 2 errors a game. 2 errors per game. 18 games he played last season, I believe Fred said, and it was 38 errors or whatever it was. That's wild. Those numbers are mad for people who don't know. That's a mad number. He had the most errors across the entire league for any player last year, Selwyn Cobbo. So he really needs to sort that out. Newtown Jets is Billy, only in the team because his dad is the coach. Rice sends that I keep forgetting Martin to pounce on the Broncos. Knox Corvus says Reynolds doesn't look in the right headspace, and I see him at least once a week. Oh, I'll trust you there, man. Bentley Cool Dudes says Broncos win because I'm a Broncos fan. Well, you have to back in your team, baby. Don't let the bullshit, don't let the haters tell you can't do it, baby. Don't you worry. Mevedus says I'll go with Panthers, but Herbie's pretty fun to watch. Herbie is fun to watch. Newtown Raiders first. I said, what's going on here with this ladder? Raiders, Broncos, Cowboys, top 3. He doesn't even have the Panthers in the top 8. I'm moving on. What's no, I don't want to check out your top 8 list. They're not Panthers, top 8. Tigers and Anyway. Rice says to feel like Tapau has more impact coming in when the other team is tired and he's fresh. Yeah, well, look forward to seeing it. I like your NRL ladder video you made. Appreciate you, Jack. Memphis said, I think if Broncos would have win, Adam Reynolds would have to play great. Well, of course, he's their leader, effectively. Payne Haas is the leader, but he's not in a definitive position. Like, front rowers are definitive in regards to me, it's May, but they're not going to be the ones that usually score the tries, right? They're not going to be the ones that put the points on the board. They're not going to be assisting, really. They're going to be getting that chug going and getting you into place, so your halves, so your hooker, and so your outside man can score. That's why I have problems with the Tigers this year. They've got a lot of great forwards, but who's going to score their tries for them? Marianne Solomon says, does Crichton and Lenny's not putting much effort since they're leaving this season's end? Crichton definitely. Nah, the ego in the Panthers is too much. They're not going to just not do it. Toxic Hammer says, do you want to Coke with lemon? Coke Zero with lemon if you're going to bring it. Jamad Ali says, I'm going to rip the Bronx because that's my team. And I tip the Bronx because that's my team. And I don't care if I lose money because I'm loyal. Well, you don't want to bet. Don't bet on your team much, bro. Like that is a hard one because if you lose, you get a double whammy, double whammy if you lose that one. So I wouldn't advise betting on your team, but obviously back in your team publicly. But there we go, guys. That's going to do us for the Panthers and Broncos one. I'm going to take Panthers by 14, but I would not be surprised if it's like a 4-point game as well or a 6-point game. Again, relative shot in the dark there. All right, we get to the 4th game now, which is the early game on Saturday between the Manly Seagulls and Canterbury Bulldogs. Guys, smack that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. Another tough one to predict. It's all going to be tough. It is all going to be tough except for that last game, eh? But Manly, obviously $1.66. The Bulldogs, $2.24. I feel like they're fair odds. I feel like they're really fair odds there. Moving into the teams now, obviously Manly, Tommy Trebojevic is the fullback. Good to see that he's starting and good to see he's healthy to go over the season. Christian Tuipulotu and Ruben Garrick are on the wings, with Brad Parker and Anton Takuola in the centres. Centre pairing there is a bit iffy, but the wing pairing is also actually relatively iffy. Christian Tuipulotu isn't great defensively, and is hit and miss on attack as well. Ruben Garrick obviously really solid. So out of the 2, 3, 4, and 5, Ruben Garrick is clearly the best player there. Takuola, has potential. Brad Parker is very reliable, but also you're not going to get any kind of X factor whatsoever there. You go into the halves here, and you've got Cooper Johnson in the 6 and Daly Cherry Evans in the 7, and he's the captain. So obviously no Joshy Schuster. He's injured for the first couple of weeks, I believe, so take him out of your fantasy sides. Taniel Paseka and Jake Trbojevic are the front rowers, with Lachlan Croker in the number 9. So worry about this team, man. Hamoli Olaguatu and Kelma Tuolangi in the back row, with Sean Kepi in the lock. Interchanges Ko Weeks, Ben Trbojevic, Ethan Bullimore, and Josh Aloye, Instagram blocker. Reserves, Dofafos Sipley, Ben Condon, Raymond Mayalo Vega, Morgan Harper, and Gordon Chan Tong, who I believe might get a crack at that 9 at some stage this year, to be completely honest with you. I'm worried about this Manly team, bro. I really am. I'm worried about this Manly team. I still think they're missing a whole heap of players. That's a worrying start there for me. Then we went to the Bulldogs now. Hayes Perm is the fullback, obviously taking over Avarillo, who has moved to the centres. But Jacob Carraz and Josh O'Connor on the wings, great wing pairing there, with Jake Avarillo and Paul Alamotti in the centres. Really fresh, new, young backline there. Be interesting to see how they work out. Matty Burton is the captain in the 6. That's interesting. Matty Burton's obviously the captain there. I thought Adam Carr was, but I might be just all over the shop. Kyle Flano is the 7. That's the biggest worry for me, and we all know that. My boy Maxi King alongside Ryan Sutton in the front row. Reid Marnie is the number 9. With the back row being Viliami Kickout and Raymond Fatala Mariner. Lock being Manu Brown. Interchange is Jaden Tanner, Corey Waddell, Frank Compella, and Jacob Preston. With the reserves being Braden Burns, Josh Reynolds, Andrew Davey, Jackson Tapine, and Jaden Ockenbaugh. I might go the underdog here. I may go the underdog here, and I'm not convinced in the Bulldogs this year, as you guys are aware, but I'm genuinely considering going the doggies in this game. I am genuinely considering going the doggies in this game. Let's just scroll this down so you can see. Oh, it's still there. I'm going to go Bulldogs. I'm going to go Bulldogs, and it's the away team. I feel like, although they will overall still be waiting for a big moment this year, Bulldogs fans will think they win the comp after they win this game. I feel like this is a very big trap game for Manly, with all those players. Their forwards aren't that great. Their back line is a little bit of the shot. They've still not got Schuster. They don't have Jason Saab. They're trying out like new centre pairing. The back row is fine. Olaguatu have a bigger year this year. Didn't really do it well that last year, but the year before that was fantastic. Lock, Sean Kepi, not believing in that. I still don't believe in the number 9. Cherry Evans is a great player, but I don't know if he's going to be able to carry this team to win. And like I said, I don't necessarily believe the Bulldogs are going to be as good as people hyped them up to be this year. But I do think I'm going to go the upset here. I think I'll go to my second upset, but I will go an upset in the Bulldogs to win that game. All right, let's go have a look what you guys say in the chat. Tommy says, Manly haven't won round 1 since 2013. Oh, there you go. Well, I'm glad I tipped the Bulldogs just then. I'm glad I tipped the Bulldogs before that even happened. Melvin says, Luke Thompson out 6 months is so frustrating. Yeah, that is a big frustrating one there for you guys. Knox Corver says, Manly are a bogey team, always have been. Well, fair enough, man. I'm still happy to go with the doggies there. And that is a rivalry game. It is a big rivalry game there between Manly and the Bulldogs. But I think the doggies have a bit more oomph going forward. I feel like there's a lot more excitement about this Dogs team in this game than there is about that Manly team that I just saw. Newtown Jet says, Manly have Turbo, never rule them out. I'm not ruling them out. Also, this team isn't much different than the side that made the prelims. The only real difference is Foran and Tapau. They played players in different positions. Plus, also, Jason Saab would have been in that team as well that you've missed out on there. Obviously, no Foran, as you said. No money to Power, as you said. Yeah, there's still outs there, man. But look, never rule him out. But also, is Trbojevic fit and healthy? Like, completely. Like, is he trusting in his body? Because you can't ignore all the bullshit, right? You can't ignore everyone saying, you're injury prone, you're going to get injured again. Right? That's why I try to refrain from saying, Trbojevic probably gets injured again this year. Because I don't want to put that out into the open. If it happens, it happens. And we don't want to see that. We want to see a fully fit Tommy Trbojevic and a fully fit and healthy Manly side. Because you want to see the best go up against the best. If you don't want that, then your team's not good enough. If you don't believe you can beat a team with their best players out there, your team is not good enough, right? So I want Manly I want Trbojevic to be fit and healthy so I can see what Manly are going to do. I just don't know about round 1 here, if he's going to be completely trusting in his body. Maybe give it a round or 2 to really get back into the rhythm of it. Didn't play any pre-season trials. Yeah, I'll wait and see in regards to the old Manly. James McPaul's Cooper John starting well. Well, he has to because Josh Schuster is out injured. Dogs have a leadership group or something. Chook still beat Redcliffe, but we'll talk about that in a bit, man. Schmitty said Manly 1 to 12. I'm going Doggies 1 to 12 here, but it's definitely still a 50-50 game as well, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, you do definitely need a halfback Knox Corvus if you're talking about the Bulldogs. Absolutely. 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 Mevita says, how do you think Turbo will perform this season? He would still be the player the opposition would target. Oh, yeah, for sure, man. The target is definitely still going to be on Tommy Trbojevic's shoulders. They need to, because people forget as well. Yes, he had an incredible 2021 season, but in 2022, before he got injured, he was locked down incredibly well. The first whatever rounds, I think it was 4, 5, 6 rounds or whatever that Tommy Trbojevic played, Manly weren't doing that well with him. They didn't look that fantastic with him there. So maybe we're just all expecting that he'll come back and be the 2021 form, which Benny Barber didn't do it after 2012. Jared Hayne didn't have a season like 2009. Obviously, he still had good seasons, but didn't have 2009-esque. I don't know if Tom Trbojevic is going to be able to live up to the expectation because he has a lot of expectations, also has that injury cloud. I'm still worried about Manly. It's time race all the way. Schmee's homegrown advantage is huge for Manly, though. I think it was. I don't think in recent years. Against the Titans last year, they actually genuinely, I believe, won that game based off of their home crowd, actually. So they stopped a Titans charge late. So maybe you might be right. I don't really think Saab is a first grader anymore. I think he did his ACL, didn't he? That's why he's been out. But I never really thought that Jason Saab was actually that fantastic. I think he's just a speedster. Didn't really have any defense and is quite lazy on the returns. But overall, I still think he's probably going to be in their first grade team. Bulldogs look fire. I only think they need to change their half line again. Can't even rise to the challenge. I don't believe the Bulldogs look as fire as people make it out to be. But with that being said, that's just my personal opinion. But there we go, guys. Let's... Benny Barber did make a little bit of a late comeback in 2016 with the Sharkies. Yeah, I guess you are right there. I'm just going to scroll this down here so you can see the next games that we do have to go here. By the way, guys, obviously, stick around because at the end, I will drop the tipping link, which I should do. Thanks, Knox Corvus, for joining up with the BK Army. Appreciate that, my brother. Let's go to Seagulls versus the Bulldogs. Go to the draw and let's go see the next team, next game to be doing here. Obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. We've got 4 more games to go. Oh no, sorry, haven't we only done 3 games? So 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, no, I just couldn't count for a second then. No, we've got 4 games to go here, so we're halfway through. All right, so next game here, guys, is the Cowboys and the Canberra Raiders here in North Queensland. Now, I feel like I know who's going to win this game, to be completely honest with you. I'm pretty confident in who would win this game. Then again, I'll get into a reason maybe why not. But the Cowboys are $1.47 to win the game, with the Raiders being $2.70. This is up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville. The team for the Cowboys, Scotty Drinkwater as the fullback, with Kyle Fell and Murray Talangi on the wings, and Valentine Holmes and Peter Hiku into the centres. Tommy Dearden is the 6, Jay Townsend, captain, is the 7, Jordan McLean and Ruben Cotter on the front row, with Reece Robson as the number 9. You got Cohen Hess and Jeremiah Nanai as the back row. Cohen Hess, interesting inclusion there. And then Jason Tamas, maybe a city coach possibility there for cheap. And then Jason Tavalolo is the lock. Jake Granville, Griffin Neem, Jermaine Tennell-Brown, and James Tarmo is the interchange, with Brendan Elliott, Riley Price, Tom Chester, Gehamatz Shibasaki, and Kulika Kefu Finifoyaki as the reserve. So Cowboys team, pretty much just straightforward what we got last year. Maybe just a change of Cohen Hess starting in that back row, but overall, pretty much just a straight-up Cowboys team from last year. Now for the Canberra Raiders, you've got Sebastian Chris as the fullback, with Nick Kotrich and Jordan Rapana on the wings, Matty Tomoko and Harley Smith-Shields in the centres there. So I believe that would mean that... oh, that's right, because Sebastian Chris has gone to the fullback, so... Yeah, Harley Smith goes in the centres there. Interesting. It's an interesting back line there for the Raiders. Maybe not the strongest I thought they'd be there. In the halves, Jack White is the 6, Jamal Fogarty is the 7 as the halfback, with Pasami Saulo and Joseph Tarpanay in the front row. Danny Levi is the hooker. You've got Hudson Young and Elliot Whitehead in the back row, who's the captain, and Corey Huddle-Renara as the lock. Tom Starling, Atamariota, Corey Horsburgh, and Emre Gula are the interchange, with Alba Hopwate, Matt Frawley, Zach Wolford, Trey Mooney, and Peter Holler as the reserve. So is Tom Starling injured, is he? Oh no, sorry, he's in the interchange. I forgot about that. Sorry, I just completely went over that in my mind. I feel like this is going to be a pretty easy Cowboys win, to be completely honest with you. I think the Cowboys are the better team here. Overall, I do think they'll have a bit of a drop-off this year consistently, but I think this is a really good matchup here for the Cowboys to win this at North Queensland over the Raiders, who their backline's not as strong as I thought it would be, especially in that fullback position. Sebastian Kris is a great centre for me, but I think they're going to be left wanting a lot with this backline right now, and I feel like the forwards of the Cowboys should be able to steamroll this four-pack. I know that the Raiders have Tarpanay, Hudson Young, Elliot Whitehead, maybe not as much as he used to be, and Huddle Renara is fine, but I feel like this is a much better forward pack here for the Cowboys that should be able to really move through this team. Do worry about Chatty Townsend this year, but then again, I guess we all worried about him last year and was able to kill it, so be interesting to see. I am going to say here, well, how much am I going to tip him by? I'm going to take the Cowboys. You know what? I also believe it's going to be 13 plus. I think the Cowboys are going to win this game 13 plus. I think they're going to be too good for them. I think it'll be a really good start there for the Cows. They'll move off to a positive start of the season, and people will start to think that maybe, that hesitancy in regards to the Cowboys in 2023 might not be as prolific as we thought. Maybe they might have that big, significant drop-off. But yeah, look, I think that I think it's going to be a very hot and cold year for the Cowboys overall. I don't think they're going to be as dominant as we saw last year. They didn't really beat a great deal of big teams last year. It was a similar story to the Sharkies, where they beat the small teams but couldn't really beat a lot of the bigger teams, even though they did get to the prelims, obviously. But yeah, I'll take the Cowboys here. I think I'll go 13 plus. But yeah, I'll go Cowboys 13 plus. Northern Viking says Raiders. Woo, yeah. And Nab says, did you get a new camera? I got a new computer. I'm on the iMac now, mate. I'm on the iMac. Bob Williams says, hi, hello, mate. Bulldogs 2023 Premier says that Raiders 4-pack is top tier. Disagree. I disagree this time round. I was expecting a better 4-pack coming into this season. Pasami Saulo is a bit of a, how you going? One Daniel Levi is very hot and cold. Tarpanay, obviously one of the best front rowers in the business. Hudson Young, one of the best back rowers in the business. Elliot Whitehead, experienced, but also getting older, obviously. And Haranara can have his impact, but also can go through moments where he doesn't have his impact as well. So, they've got a good 4-pack. I just think this Cowboys forward pack coming into this game is, look, Jordan McLean, New South Wales representative last year if he didn't get injured. Reece Robson potentially could take over the 9 for Damien Cook this year if Cookie doesn't have a great season. Ruben Cotter, absolutely fantastic last year. He was unreal. Cohen Hess has had his moments in the past. Let's see if he can do it again. Had a better year last year than recent, but has had his moments in the past. Jeremiah Nanai, obviously best back row on the comp last year, really. For try scoring anyway. And then Jason Tabalolo on 13. I think this is a much better forward pack right now than the Raiders 4-pack, personally speaking. Yeah. I was actually expecting to like that Raiders 4-pack a little bit more than I did when I was looking at it, to be completely honest with you. Crazy that Jake Granville has been with the Cowboys for so long. Yeah, he has been. He's still getting a crack. Obviously not in the starting lineup, but he is still definitely getting a crack there. Knox Corbett says this will be a tough game. I think if it was in Canberra, I'd be going... I actually think I'd go Raiders 1-12 in Canberra. I do. I think that the home ground advantage here for the Cowboys is actually quite significant to start off with there. To try and get that momentum going from last year as well. Is John Bateman back in the NRL? He is, but he's actually out for a little bit. We'll talk about that in the Tigers game. He's actually out for 10 weeks, I think it was, or a few weeks. Bentley Cool Dude's computer is very good quality, bro. Appreciate you, man. Nabtab says, Raiders will be unstoppable late season, but we need to be able to beat the Tigers first. Raiders Tigers? I'm not too sure where that's come from. The Reese says, Cows still have Leilua to come back. I don't know what's going on with Luciano Leilua. I think there's some legal issues, isn't there? I'm not too sure. I think there's some legal issues with Luciano. I could be wrong, though. NRL has it up the Raiders. Marianne Solomon says, Tamalolo lock of the year. Hard to do that over Cameron Murray or... even Paddy Carrigan, Zaya Yo, there's some big bubbers there. But Tamalolo could really... it's not really a bounce back, per se, but he hasn't... Obviously, he was the clear and out best lock in the business up until maybe a couple of years ago, and then Cameron Murray and Zaya Yo really made that statement for themselves. So, it's not a bounce back year, but it would be a return to glory year, is what I would say. A return to glory. Because a bounce back year kind of alludes to... them him not being good, if you know what I'm saying. It kind of refers to him just really, really struggling, and he hasn't really at all, to be completely honest with you. Marianne says, agree, just want to see where you ranked him. Fair call. Yeah, he's definitely the top three, got above Paddy Carrigan. But we did the lock tier maker. You should go and check out our lock tier maker video because we went through and ranked all the locks in for best locks in the business. But let's move into the next game now, guys. Let's just switch this one back over and go back to the draw, which is going to be the Cronulla Sharkies and the South Sydney Rabbitohs. What an absolute bolter. What an absolute bolter for a 6:35 p.m. game, which is, I think, 5:30 in Queen. No, so that's the 7:30 game in New South Wales. This is going to be a big game, guys. Obviously, smack that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Or if you're watching this afterwards, comment it below. The Cronulla Sharks at home, Sharky Park is $2.39, with the Rabbitohs being $1.58. Obviously, I've got both these teams tipped for the top three this year in the season predictions video that I did yesterday. So this, for me, is going to be an absolute stellar game. Sharkies, their team. William Kennedy is the fullback with Sione Katoa and Ronaldo Mulatalo on the wings. Jesse Ramian and Siasia Fatalakai in the centres. Straight up, that's their, line from last year. Matty Moylan and Braden Trindle are in the halves here. So Matt Moylan's the 6 and Braden Trindle's the 7. I forgot that Nico Hines is out for this game, which is really, really tough news for the Sharks. Obviously, he's their major spark. I actually think the Rabbitohs might be good value now, actually. $1.58 is pretty good value there. Forwards, Toby Rudolph and Braden Hamlin-Welly are the front row forwards, with Blake Brayley in the number 9. Hamlin-Welly, maybe not the greatest to start, but we'll see how that front row pairing goes. Britton Corin, Teague Wilton, back row, Dale Finucane is the captain. I'd say that overall the weakness of the Sharks team, besides obviously Nico Hines being out this game, is their full pack. It's not maybe as dominant as you would like to see, but still got quality there. And Teague Wilton is obviously coming through. Just need him to not do what he did in that prelim final last year, or the semi-final, sorry, against the Rabbitohs that we're talking about here. Interchange, Cameron McInnes, Wade Graham, Oregon Kafusi, and Jack Williams are the interchange, with the reserves being Connor Tracy, Moeni Hiroti, Thomas Hazelton, Jaden Burrell, and Nevai Peru. So that is the reserves there for the Sharkies. Moving over to the South Sydney Rabbitohs here, who I think is going to have a very good year this year. Latrell Mitchell is the fullback, with Alex Johnson and Isaac Thompson on the wings. Isaiah Tass and Campbell Graham in the centre. So they've got a rookie there on the wing, but he's got some massive raps about him coming into the year. Cody Walker and Lachlan Ilias in the halves. I feel like Ilias is going to have a banging year, man. He's got that grease cap under his belt. He really powered forward late towards the end of last year. Has that leadership from Greece, obviously. Struggled early on, but I think that now he's had a full year under his belt here at the Rabbitohs. I think he's going to have a good year. Tavita Totola and Thomas Burgess are the front row. Damien Cook is the number 9. Need Damien Cook to pick it up this year, because I've always been a big fan of Damo, but yeah, the old cookie hasn't been exactly at his prime best on a consistent level for a few years now. Back row, Keon Kolomatangi and Jai Arrow, with Cameron Murray as the captain in the lock. How good is he? You have to have him in your fantasy team, Supercoach team this year, to be honest with you, in my personal opinion. Blake Taff, Michael Cheekham, Davi Mawali, and Shakai Mitchell is the interchange. So I actually think the Sharks bench there is probably a little bit more well-rounded. Reserves there, Jed Cartwright, Terrell Kalokalo, Ben Lovett, Daniel Soluka Fafita, and Josiah Katopani are the reserves there. So in regards to this game, guys, at Shark Park on a Saturday, oh man, Shark Park on a Saturday, I don't know about the younger generation, they might not know this, but Shark Park on a Saturday has always been like a really impossible matchup to win. Just the way it is. I don't know what it is. It's just like a hoodoo that they've always had. Shark Park on a Saturday night is just, yeah, it's something else, man. I think this is going to be a Rabbitohs win, though. And the reason being is that Nico Hines is too big of a loss. I think that's just too big of a loss there for the Sharkies to handle against this really, really dominant Rabbitohs side coming into the year. It still might take a little bit of time for the Rabbitohs to click, but overall, I think that this is a prime game for them to beat a big contender. You want to start the season off well. You want to get that win over a contender. You have that previous win against them last season to knock them out. You've got that headspace over them. Obviously, the Sharkies want to bounce them back, but I do think the forward pack for the Rabbitohs better than the Sharkies. I think that the back line for the Sharks is very, very good. I'd say the Sharks' back line's actually better, but they lose Nico Hines, that halfback, which then draws the halves combination clearly over to the Rabbitohs there. I think it's a bit of a wash there. I'd say overall, maybe you'd go with Lachlan Ilias and Cody Walker over Nico Hines and Matty Moylan. However, that's a good pairing there normally, but Nico Hines is out. I'm going to go Rabbitohs here. I will go 1-12. Sharks on a Saturday night at Shark Park is usually such a difficult game to win. But I think this will be a place that the Rabbitohs can utilise to show that they are the real deal this year for me. So I love the Sharkies. My mum. My mum's a Sharkies fan, but I can't tip him today. I can't tip him this time round. Newtown Jets says Sharkies win. Don't know about that one. Bright Robinson says big game of the round. Usually the game of the round isn't the game of the round. So I think if I was going to look at a game of the round, Who would I go with so far? We'll do it at the end. We'll have a look at it at the end. Maybe the Eels Storm, actually. The Eels Storm probably is the game of the round. The one that everyone usually looks at is usually not. Is usually not the game of the round there. So, Sharks, Rabbitohs is the one that sticks out because there's no Nico Hines. Maybe not so much. Tommy Dearden, Cowboys Player of the Year. Sharkies start for the bang. Benny says, new camera quality looks great, mate. Looking forward to content this year. Do you reckon it's going to be a close season in regards to the top 8 this year, or is there going to be a clear-cut winner? So, Benny, yesterday I put out a video. You have to have the notification bell on, son, because we do put out videos as well, not just live streams. But yesterday I did my season predictions, and I went through all 17 teams. So, definitely go check that one out there. But, yes, I think that anywhere from... I actually think anywhere 1 through 13 is very, very close. I think that obviously there's a gap between like the really, really solid teams, but majority of the comp is quite even with each other. Yeah. Knox Corbett says, yep, Sharks me just. I think if Nico Hines played, I'd be tipping the Sharkies for sure. If Nico Hines was playing, I'd be tipping the Sharkies for sure. Now, in terms of South back line is too good for the Sharks. I don't know about that. I'd say the Sharkies back line is actually... I would say the Sharks back line is actually better than the Rabbitohs back line, personally. Not including the halves there. Not including the halves. I'm talking about like a 5, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because, look, Latrell Mitchell's incredible, but in the same sense, like, have a look at the pairing there in the wing. Sena Katoa, Ronaldo Mortalo, the centre pairing of Silas Talakai and Jesse Ramian. Oh, man, that's a really good 4 there. That's a really good 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, in terms of South back line, that's right. Rabbitohs, CJC Sports is going bunnies here. Rice says, no matter the result, this will be a great game. I hope so, man, but with no Nico, it's really tough. Really, really tough there. Mary Sutherland says, Rabbits 1 to 12, my Dally M Player of the Year, Terrell Mitt will start with a bang. Dally M is a big call. You know, Cody Walker will take points off him. Damien Cook will take points off him. Cameron Murray will take a lot of points off him. Ilias could take points off him this year. Even Kolomatangi could take points off Kim Graham. They've got a great team that, unfortunately, the really big teams struggle to get players winning the Dally M's because there's so many good players that are in the mix there. That's why Cameron Smith didn't win every single year, because there was Billy Slater taking it off him, Cooper Cronk taking it off him, you know, Gareth Widdop taking points off him at times. You know, just fantastic players all over the park that really prevented Cameron Smith from pretty much winning every year, really. But overall there, guys, I'm going to go with the Rabbitohs. I think it's going to be a close game, but with the loss of Nico Hines, I will say the Rabbitohs win the game. All right, we move into the Sunday games now. The old Sunday bonanza with some absolutely banging matchups for me anyway, but for a lot of other people maybe not. But the Dolphins taking on the Sydney Chooksters. Obviously the brand new team in the Dolphins. Really, really tough to see how they're going to go this season, considering it's their first year of the competition. Obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. The Dolphins are $4.95 to win this game, with the Roosters being $1.18. I still think that's value for the Roosters, I will not lie. But let's get to the two-team lineups here. It is at Suncorp Stadium, by the way, guys. Dolphins play 4 home games at Suncorp, 4 home games, I believe, at Redcliffe, and 4 home games, I believe, on the Sunshine Coast. But let's get into the team here for the Dolphins. Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow is the fullback, with Jermaine Sarko and Tassie New on the wings. Ewan Aiken and Branko Lee in the centres. Oh boy. Isaiah Katoa is the 6. I love that he's coming for Anthony Milford. How's that guy? How about you guys who were watching that Supercoach video when I was being told that I was an idiot for having Isaiah Katoa on my bench? Because you can't just hold Isaiah Katoa waiting and praying. I said he'll probably play in the first couple of rounds. Bingo, baby. Didn't even take a single round. Isaiah Katoa there. How's that for being an idiot, big fella? Sean O'Sullivan is the 7, the halfback for the Dolphins, with the front rowers being Jesse Bromwich as the captain and Jared Wallace as the other front rower. Jerry Marshall King is the number 9, with Felice Kafusi and Kenny Brom in the back row. Tommy Gilbert is the lock. Herman Essa, Mark Nichols, Ray Stone, and Kurt Donahoe are the interchange, with Kennelly Lemielu, Puasa Fatmasuli, Mason Teague, Anthony Milford, and Robert Jennings as the reserves. So, I think we all knew this was going to be the team that they were going to put together. We didn't know that Katoa would get the start, but in the same sense, has got the start there. Very worried. Moving on to the Sydney Roosters here. James Tedesco was the captain as the fullback, with Daniel Tupou and Jackson Paulo on the wings. Worried about Jackson Paulo. Joseph Suwali'i with Corey Allen in the centres. Not as crazy good. That 4-5 is not great there. Just want to throw that one out there. That 4-5 of the Roosters, that 1-2-3 is incredible. That 4-5. Luke Keary is a 5-8 with Sammy Walker in the 7. I don't think that 4-5 is going to matter too much in this game, though. Sam Walker in the 7. Props are Lindsay Collins and Matthew Lodge, with Brandon Smith in the number 9. Can't play 80 minutes, but we'll see how he goes. Egan Butcher and Nat Butcher are the back row, with Victor Radley as the lock. Drew Hudson, Fletcher Baker, Nafahu White, and Terrell May are the interchange, with the reserves being Jake Turbin, Tuku Hau Tapahua, Sandon Smith, Suya Wong, and Junior Pauga. So take Suya Wong out of your team on Supercoach because he's not getting a crack here. We thought he might start, but he's not starting over Nat Butcher or Egan Butcher apparently. It's interesting to see that they haven't gone a hooker in Jake Turpin on the bench there, the Roosters, to replace Brandon Smith when they be, because Brandon Smith is not an 80-minute hooker. I'm just throwing that out there. He's not an 80-minute hooker, Brandon Smith. So I find it really interesting that the Chooks have not gone with somebody off the bench in Jake Turpin, because obviously Connor Watson would be on that bench otherwise. Okay, I still don't think this is going to matter too much in this game. But what are you doing? Are you going to put Drew Hutchison in there when you need to, or how's that going to work there? I'm not too sure, because he's going to have to take a break at some point. You don't want to be defending in that last 20 if he's played the first 60 minutes. Overall, I think the Roosters 13 plus. I think I could see the Roosters winning 30 plus. I could see the Roosters winning 40 plus. I could see this being the first 50 bomb of the season. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, it's going to take a little bit for them to adjust into the NRL. And I think it's just the cold-hearted nature about how frustrating it is for most people to have witnessed this Dolphins team be, added into the competition this early. They got given 1 year to sign players. They didn't sign a marquee player, and I just don't think that back line's great at all. Testing New normally plays fullback. I still don't think he's that. I don't think he's that fantastic on the wing specifically. Branko Lee's okay. Ewan Aiken is probably one of the best players in the back line there. Hamiso can be very, very lazy. It's waiting to get a crack at the Cowboys. Jermaine Sarko, don't even start me. Masai Katoa, really looking forward to that. O'Sullivan, be interesting. At least he was the best out of the two. I did tell you guys whoever played the best out of the two between O'Sullivan and Milford in that trial against the Titans was going to get the crack, and guess what? O'Sullivan played the better of the two. And then this is just a really experienced but older forward pack. There's no real youth here. There's no real solid youth here. So they're going to be slow. It's going to be a slow forward pack, but it's going to be tough, but slow. So I am worried about that. There is a point where you can have too much experience. You need the experience to help bring through your youth talent, and that really worries me. But yeah, I think this Roosters team confirms for me that they might be a little bit overrated this season in regards to the long-term capacity of it all. This 4-5 is super worrying. Kieran needs to have a really big year to kind of return to the fold after being, I guess, downhill since his injury. And this forward, they need to do a bit with this forward pack here. But overall, I would have been tipping anybody against this Dolphins team 13 plus first week, to be completely honest with you. I really would have been. Upper Dragon says, Nico Hines is the most overrated player in the comp. How dare he rob the Dally M medal from Hunt? It's a joke. No, he's not overrated. He's a fantastic player. He took a team that was 9th to 2nd in 1 year. Newtown Jets says, Dolphins surprised everyone with an upset win their first ever game. Roosters don't have a great track record, I guess. Last year they lost the Knights, but I don't think they're going to... This would be embarrassing. It'd be humiliating. Absolutely humiliating for the Roosters. They lost this game. Humiliating. It would kill their season. It would kill their season from round 1. It really would. But that's just my personal opinion. I don't think they get... I think the Roosters win this game by a canter. So the Dolphins to come out charted with their first ever game. Yeah, but they're going to be slow on the forwards, man. Bulldogs 2023 Premier says, remember when Roosters were very deficient to start last year? No, I know. Branko Lee's a bit dodgy. A little bit dodgy, New Zealand. A little bit dodgy there. Tony Bros will be interesting. Toxic Gamer says, he's on my bench too. North Viking King says, always support all our Queensland teams. I hate the Roosters. Broncos can eat a dick, but everybody else, yeah, go the Cowboys, Dolphins, and the Titans. But Dolphins are, the wish version of the Gold Coast. But I'm not supporting the Broncos, no thank you. Rooster Man says, Manu out, Roosters still be plenty. Yeah, Manu's out as well. I didn't even notice that, because obviously he would normally go there. Still got plenty, yeah. Walter says, why don't they just buy someone better than Paulo with their endless cap? Did they not sign someone? Is Dom Young not going to them next year? It could be Dom Young. Or is that the Rabbitohs? I can't remember which one he's signing for. THC Sports says, hope Katoa smashes it, and not just because he's in my Supercoach team. It's been Roosters. I think everyone has Katoa, and if you don't have Katoa, you're a muppet. Pew's Throwaway says, I wouldn't really call Eels vs Storm an upset, to be fair. It's most likely going to be close, but it's Eels at home, fresh for the grand final. Yep, we spoke about that one, but I tipped to Eels, and they are technically upset. Mary Solomon says, praying for Angus Crichton, but damn, that's a big loss this year for the Chooks, but Roosters by 30 plus, even with the iffy edge of Allen and Paulo. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is. Obviously, prayers up for Angus Crichton. We don't know the full story. We hear what the news and media outlets say. We hear what, some stupid Instagram page puts out a month before they were told they were allowed to put it out. But, also the same person that told me that Jaden Campbell wouldn't be 14, Brimson wouldn't be the 1, and Tanner Boyd wouldn't be the 7. But, what do I know about my own team, right? Then I got blocked. Russ Zen says, glad Katoa was getting the starting chance and Milford is off. Yep. City Lambs, Bunny Sharks, definitely game of the week. I'll be enjoying it with a nice gin bean and vanilla Coke. You're getting timed out. We'll see you in 5 minutes, Sadie Lamb. You muppet. How dare you say something so silly. That is just silly, silly, silly. Northern Viking King says, as long as we have another Queensland team, I'm good. NRL Heads is good. Teal Chungus says, a couple selections for the Dolphins, like Neil on the wing and the number 17 are a bit weird. Very weird, Teal Chungus. It's a weird team for me. It is. It's a weird Dolphins team. But with that being said, how weird is it? Because we've never seen a team play for the Dolphins before in the NRL, right? So, Wayne Bennett knows more than I do. Let's put it that way. And you. Toxic Gamer says Fido is a lazy fullback. He is. He would have been able to catch Fafita. I don't know if Fafita would have been able to pass it off to Jojo, but he would have been able to catch David, which would have forced Jojo to, put a little bit more speed and a little bit more kind of... I still think we scored the try, but yeah, Tabuai Fido really needed to move a lot quicker than he did. And it was just lazy on the weekend, and that's a big reason why he didn't get to the Cowboys setup. Obviously he's gone to the Dolphins. He was playing, I think, as the fullback for the Cowboys before he got injured. Then Scotty Drinkwater broke out. Obviously Murray Talangi, Carl Felt on the wings. He's not getting over them. And in the centres, they've got Peter Hiku and Valentine Holmes. He's not getting ahead of them either. So Hamiso was looking really promising, but has been brought back down to earth with his, I guess, laziness, yeah. Persidon says, Roosters have signed Dominic Young. There you go. So it's Eleni and now Dylan Napa. Man, they've signed everyone. They're going to sign Adams the Grey soon. Adams the Grey's a surprise. Jack Bosa didn't get named, absolutely. But they'll sign Adams the Grey. He killed it in the charity event, so the Roosters will probably sign him up in the next couple of days. Water says, I've seen someone say Angus is stuck in a... Yeah, I'm not going to read the rest of that out, but prayers up to him. Let's not throw out assumptions and stuff like that on the stream. Nick Sanchez says Dolphins team is a whole lot of mid, but I still see them with the upset of their first ever game. Not against the Roosters. Not against the Roosters for me. Anyone else maybe. Anyone else maybe there. Rice says that whole game reckless fullback just looked like he wished he was somewhere else. Absolutely. All right, guys, let's move into the final game of the round, and then we'll still chat here for a little bit. We'll probably go until maybe 7:30. So an hour and a half stream or so. And then if obviously you want to go back and have a look at my tips, I will do the... I will put out the timestamps throughout the video. So guys, obviously smack that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. And here's the one we've all been waiting for, right? My team, the Gold Coast Titans, taking on the West Tigers down at Leichhardt Oval in Sydney. I will be there, as you guys know. I will be supporting my Titans down there every single game this year. Tigers are strangely enough $1.78, but the Titans being $2.05. Let's go through the two-team lineups here. So, the Kia back line of the Tigers, you've got Dane Laurie as the fullback, with David Nufaluma and Charlie Staines on the wing. Tommy Talau and Brent Naden are in the centres. So, yeah, that back line is something. It's not good something, but it's something nonetheless. Adam Dewey is the 6 and Luke Brooks is the 7. I like Adam Dewey. I think Adam Dewey's great there, but Luke Brooks still confuses the absolute bejeebers out of me. Forwards there, Stefano Utukamanu and David Clemmer in the front row. Great front row pairing there. And Api Sakotosau, captain in the number 9. He'll be able to lead them around the park quite nicely. Isaiah Papali'i from the Eels comes in with Sean Bloor in the back row. Sean Bloor, a little bit iffy, but Isaiah Papali'i, absolutely banger. Joe Ofahengawi is the 13, had a really good year last year. Can he maintain it? Interchange, Jake Simpkin, Alex Tual, Fanua Paul, and Asul Kepoa. Please don't let Alex Tual be to score his first ever try against us. That'd be nice to not do that. But then again, I guess I'd be able to rush the field, even though I'm a Titans fan. Alex Seafarth, Stafford Toa, Brandon Wakeham, Justin Matamua, and Junior Tupou are the reserves there. So that is the Tigers team. As I've been saying, we'll get into it in a second. But I feel like I've been confirmed what I've been saying. Murder the boys now. AJ Brimdog, millionaire. He's the fullback today of Alexander Brimson. Now, guys, don't forget, if you're on Instagram, follow AJ Brimson every single time. I spoke to him about this the other day. He was like, so many people have been commenting on my stuff recently. When he posts a photo, actually, go to his last photo. Go to his most recent photo, not of the one with Liam Hampson, because obviously that's a meaningful post. But for his last photo, go onto it and comment, change your name to the Brimdog Millionaire. Change your name to the Brimdog Millionaire. Do it! Stop running! You can run, you can't hide, son. Change your name to the Brimdog Millionaire. Winger, we've got Jojo Fafita and Lofiana Khan Pereira, with the centres being Aaron Shupp and Philip Sami. Going into the halves now, Kieran Foran is the 6, and Tanner Boyd wins out the race for the halfback in the 7. Jimmy Jolliffe, Jamin Jolliffe, and Tino Fa'asul Malawi are the front rowers there, with Tino being the big old captain there. Sammy Verrills is the number 9. with David Fafita and Bo Firma as the back row. Isaac Liu is the 13. I actually do like this now. You know, after that trial against the Dolphins, Liu seemed to work really nicely with Aaron Clark coming off the bench there. Isaac Liu might be about how to come and have a breakout season from, you know, the bit down year that he had last year. Obviously, you know, a re-breakout season, because he has been very good at the Roosters. Then he was really poor last year. I think he could have a bigger year this year. Interchange, Jaden Campbell, Aaron Clark, Moiki Fodawaker, and I love Joe Sims on the bench here. He's been very good in the trials, and he's been putting in a shift in training. Reserve, Sammy McIntyre, unlucky to miss out there, but good depth there. Keanu Kinney, Chris Randall, Khalees Haas, and Tremaine Spry are the reserves. So, for me, guys, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Titans here, and I truly believe that we're going to win by a good amount. I think that our backline has really been assisted here with Aaron Shook into the defensive centre role. Obviously, he doesn't pass the ball a great deal, but we saw in that game against the Dolphins, he could score a try, baby, absolutely, and do it on his own. The Brimdog Millionaire, you know, it's good to see him really back and solidified in that fullback spot this year. The 6, Kieran Foran, is a signing of need, not a signing of want. He came in there to help the inexperienced half of either Toby Sexton or Tanner Boyd, which obviously Tanner's been the one to win that role there. Had a great game against the Dolphins too, Kizza. Number 9 there, Sammy Verrills. Huge loss there for the Roosters, in my personal opinion. You know, really solid. When he came back last year for the Roosters from an injury, that's when they started winning again. They lose him, he comes to us. I'm very happy with that. We've never really had a quality 9 for a very long time now. Nathan Friend was probably our really last very quality 9. Well, not very quality, but he was a definite, you know, top end to do the job kind of 9 there. And that 4-pack is incredible. The 4-pack is incredible. Jimmy Jolliffe has been running for like 200 metres a game in the preseason. Truly, he's super underrated, man. Like, stop talking about Dylan Edwards being underrated. It really is silly. It's silly that Dylan Edwards keeps talking about being underrated. He's not underrated. People rate him. People know him. He won the Clive Churchill. Like, shit, stop saying he's underrated. He was, now he's not. It's like Jared Groger. He was, and then he wasn't. But yeah, I think that the bench here for the Titans does win it out between the two. I think the forward packs there do equal each other out. And then I think that our backline beats their backline. So that's why I'm going to take the Titans here. And I think the Titans do win by a decent amount. But I'm happy to hear your opinions there and say that I'm a Muppet, I'm biased, I'm a goose. I have no idea why the Titans are as outsiders as they are. I really don't. I'm actually genuinely shocked that they're not the favourites for this game. I know it's at Leichhardt. The Titans have beaten the Tigers 8 out of the last 10 times and have won the last 4 times in a row against them. 4 times in a row against them, yeah. And that's the Tigers are the team that we have our best record against in history. So, yes, I believe we win this game. I do. I believe we win this game. Let's go have a look here at the chat now, guys. Rice sends that whole game. Oh, that's right, Redcliffe. Do you know the Titans and Dolphins played their first game at Suncorp? I know, because I'm going every game. No, I don't get to watch NRL 360 too much up the Dragons because that's usually a very New South Wales predominant commentary. Plus, also, I just don't really have the time, really. Rice answer, let's go with the Titans. Addison Gray says Titans 30 plus, surely, brother. Honestly, I don't think 30 plus, but I do believe we can get a really good dominant statement win here, yeah. Up the Dragon says Brimson in for a Brimdog Millionaire in for a big year. I'm a massive fan of him. He's a great bloke, man. He's a great player for this team. He's a good leader for this team. Obviously, if Tino is injured, usually Brimdog Millionaire gets the captaincy role. Maybe Kizza gets it now. But with that being said, like the Brimdog Millionaire usually fills in as captain when Tino's not in there. And no, he's great. He is great, the old Brimdog Millionaire. What it says, get Boyd, you Supercoach fellas. I told you guys this a while ago. Rice Zan says, Foran is going to bring so much to the Titans. Order and experience, 2 things we were lacking. Absolutely. The spine has been a big problem for us last year. That was the biggest problem, obviously, which didn't really it filtered throughout the entire team, obviously. We had no experience in the halves. Brimdog Millionaire, it's not a 6, he's a fullback. We had Toby Sexton, who didn't have any experience there, plus also didn't have the partnership that he needs. And then they signed Kieran Foran, but unfortunately the season went too long. The losses kept piling up, and then Tanner Boyd came in and killed it. So he slotted in there, and he's absolute great work for this club as well, Tanner. And a 9 is perfect. We haven't had a great 9 in a long time, and Sammy Verrills killed it on the weekend as well. So, yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to what the team can do. Marianne Solomon says, bold statement, but Olofiana Campbell will have a case this year for Rookie of the Year. I'm not a big Titans fan. Sorry, brother, but I have to be honest, he's looking good. I appreciate that, man. I do appreciate that. And Loffy, he's a great man. He's a great bloke, man. He is absolutely going to kill it this year. I've been saying this as my breakout player since before the trials. You guys can go back and check the receipts. Loffy is going to be one of the fastest players in the league. You haven't seen it yet. He didn't get a breakaway. He scored 4 tries against the Dolphins and 2 tries against the Broncos, but you haven't seen him break away yet. If he gets into space, you ain't catching him. You ain't catching him. I would love to see a battle between him and Josh Adokar for a race at some point this season when we play the Dogs. I would love it because I genuinely believe that Loffy can outpace him. I genuinely believe it. So I would love for the Dogs and Titans when they play each other for there to be a matchup between Loffy and Loffy and that matchup with Birdo will be with Tino. But Loffy and Adokar, and I think it'll be a great race. Fantastic race. Because even Philip Sammy has caught Adokar before. Jackson Tapine says, thoughts on the Stags and Reece Robson for Supercoach? I've got both. I've got both. Brennan Jones says, no, their first ever game. What? Newtown Jets says 12 to score a 79th minute match-winning try. A Titans turn 7 against the Dragons, Suncorp. Oh, you said Dolphins, didn't you? I swear you said Dolphins. Something about Titans and Dolphins. Hold on. Brennan Jones. Hold on. Did you know the Titans and Dolphins played their first game at Suncorp? Oh, yeah. No. No, that's not true. You meant to say the Dragons. That's why it was confusing. Yes, I know. The Dragons won that game by like 8 points or something like that. Newtown Jets says Titans also played their finals game at Suncorp. Incorrect. Only the prelim onwards. Only the prelim. First and second round. No, sorry, the first round. No, first and second round we can play at Seabus. But then the third prelim has to be played at Suncorp. That's when we played the Roosters, yeah. Robert M says, hey, BKR, go to the Titans. I believe you'll win it. I hope so, mate. I really do. Rice says the Loffian will give out a car run for his money. He will. I'm telling you, it's exciting. It really is exciting. People don't know it yet because they haven't seen it yet. But I'm telling you, man, when he was playing for Burleigh, like the speed that he has is just ridiculous. Nabtab says, will Storm be as good as they have been in previous years and can they easily beat Penrith at their best? So Nabtab, I did my pre-season predictions yesterday. By the way, guys, we've done our tipping for today. So we're just kind of chatting away now. Shoot through any questions about any team you want now. Yeah, Nabtab, I did put my season predictions out yesterday. Go and check that video out after this. It goes for about, I think, 18 minutes. I think it was 17 teams in 18 minutes, the video. I go through every single team. I am not as high believing in Storm this year. However, I did make that video before the news of Craig Bellamy retiring at the end of this year came out, right? So, I probably will get slandered. I know what I'm going to cop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a big boy. I know how to cop with all the nonsense, right? And I feel like that was probably a bold move, considering now Craig Bellamy is going to be retiring at the end of the year, which means the Storm will be up for it. The Storm will be up for it now, because I actually put him in 9th. I did. I put him missing the 8. But literally a day later, I'll go a different opinion. I still think probably, you know, around that, like, not the top 4, but anywhere between 5, 6, 7, 8, which would ultimately effectively push the Broncos out of that 8 if that was the case, on my predictions anyway. Thanks for the win in the draw. Oh, no worries, Robert M. Yeah, Robert M obviously won the Broncos membership, so he will be going to a couple of Broncos games this year at Suncorp Stadium. Good on you, man. Up the Dragon says, don't worry, I haven't forgotten, by the way, Robert. It's just that obviously that starts, well, you don't have a home game this week, it starts next week, so you'll be locked up, man, don't you worry. Have you heard the rumours that Tommy Tulak will go to the Titans? Chill out. Jackson Tapine says, had Grant all preseason, but damn, Robson is real tempting. Can afford Stags as well, going Robson over Grant. Well, I've got both of them, man. You should go, actually, Jackson, you should go and have a look at my Supercoach team that I did. I'll probably do a Supercoach video tomorrow. I've got the wingers tier list, but then I might do a live stream right afterwards. It's the NRL season, baby. You know, we're hectic, we're getting crazy. Oh, by the way, I should add the tipping league. I should get the tipping league up here so that you guys can join. My comps, maybe. Yeah, comps. And then we go here. How do I invite? Oh, no. Oh, invites. Here we go. Yeah. So that's the pin here. But let's copy the link so you guys can have it. So if you guys haven't joined our tipping league yet, if you have not joined our tipping league, there you go. There's the tipping league. I'll put a couple of the links there so they doesn't get missed there. But what was I saying? Let's go back here for a second on my tips. Rays vs Titans grand final. I'll take it, bro. I don't care who makes it with us. I don't care. Just get me your final spot, you know? Okay, just get me a final spot, bro. I don't care about no grand final right now. I just want a final spot. Could you see Billy Slade coaching the Storm after Craig Bellamy? Yes, I could. Marianne Solomon says, playing against Boyd and Fafita when we played schoolboys, I will tell you now, they are a dynamic duo worth watching this year. Those two, 2016, 2017, Kira Park teams were unbeatable because of those two. Absolutely, and although maybe it didn't work out as much as people thought at the end of last year, Dad Fafita did not have a bad year last year, stats would show. And I believe that, it's going to be a very promising year. By the way, I just realised I tipped all 3 away teams to finish off the round there. So I started off by tipping the first 3 home teams in the Eels, the Warriors, and the Panthers, and then have gone Bulldogs away, Cowboys. So I've gone 4 and 4. 4 and 4 for home and away. I'm happy with that. Because you will see away teams win. You will. Author Fox says Raiders wooden spoonies. That's a big call, dude. I do think that they struggle this year, but I don't know if they struggle that much. I do not know if they struggle that much. Robert says, well, who do you support to Wildra? Wildra supports the Gold Coast Titans. Wakey says, do you think we will have to give up JC within next year or 2? That's a very, very, very tough question, Wakey, because Kieran Foran isn't going to be here forever. Kieran Foran is the 6. He's obviously getting on a little bit and is here for the experience, to provide experience. I would not be surprised if Jaden Campbell is that next 6, or if they move Brimo up there eventually and Jaden Campbell goes to fullback. So I don't believe so, no. I think Jaden Campbell will be a one-club player. And who's really looking for a fullback right now? Who would be looking for a fullback? The Storm aren't the Pappenhausen there. The Warriors have got a billion fullbacks. The Broncos have Reece Walsh now, but then again, they might move him to the 6 or 7, when Reno goes, and then they'll push Samuel Cobbett to the fullback. Cowboys have got Drinkwater. Knights have got... They'll move Ponga back there. I guess maybe the Knights is a shout, but that'd be a weird signing for them. Panthers aren't going anywhere with Edwards. Eels aren't going anywhere with Gutho. Roosters, Tedesco, plus Suoliti. Rabbitohs, Tromit. Yeah. No. Manly, no. Trebojevic as well. Dragons, yes, but in the same sense, that's weird. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe so, no. I think that there's a plan for him, is what I would say. Marianne says, do you want Holbrook to say if plans go south? Sorry if I spelled the coach's name wrong. No, it's just 1L. Talk to me in 5 weeks. Keanu Kinney is now in our top 30. He's actually been in our top 30 since last year, I believe, Antonio. Newtown Jets says Dolphins vs Broncos at Suncorp should be a sellout. Will it though? Because they're all Broncos fans. Every goddamn person in that stadium is a Broncos fan. There are no Dolphins and Broncos fans. There is Broncos fans and Broncos fans there. The Dolphins were the feeder club for the Brisbane Broncos. Every single person in Redcliffe has supported the Brisbane Broncos. I don't think they hate the Broncos. I don't think they will ever hate the Broncos. Do you know why? Because the Dolphins fed the Broncos the talent. That is a wank rivalry. It's a wank rivalry. It is. It always will be wank. Because they're all fans of the same team. The Gold Coast is at least an hour away. Redcliffe is in Brisbane. Holy shit. I hate you, Redcliffe. Northern Viking King says Raiders woo, yeah. Have a good one, Viking King. Knox Corbett says, appreciate your channel, content, and passion. Appreciate you, man. We've got a big year ahead. Baby. Newtown Jackson Kemp will follow his dad and go to the Sharkies. Well, he would be doing the opposite because he came from the Sharks to the Titans. Presto. That would be going from the Titans to the Sharks. That's not a bad shout if William Kennedy goes south, I guess. Do you think Chad Townsend is even Supercoach relevant? I was going to bring him in to be a reserve and set and forget. I don't believe so. I think if you're going to be a reserve, you'd bring Tanner Boyd in. You're not going to start Tanner Boyd. You're going to have a better player there in the 7. So I would say that, or I think is he a dual position, 7 and 5'8"? Can't remember. But I think that you take Tanner Boyd absolutely over Chad Townsend. There's just no real point, really, for me. Hi, Beggars. I'm a member now. Love you. Keep up your work. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I saw that. I said thank you before. Marianne Solomon says, how high you got Verrills in your hooker tier list? You'll find out. I'm going to wait for Clark. We haven't actually filmed it yet. It's been my fault, but we haven't actually filmed it yet. So it's very difficult. I'll try and get it out on Thursday if we can film it beforehand. Otherwise, I might just have to do it myself. Do you think it'll be too late if I do put some of we've still got hookers and second rowers to go. Wingers tier list comes out tomorrow. I'll try my best to get a hookers one or even second rowers one out for Thursday before the Eels Storm game. I don't know. We'll see how we go. But guys, any last questions here? Any last questions? Shoot them on through. We'll be here for maybe another 10 or so minutes, maybe 5 minutes, or I might even just jump off now, depending on what questions that we do get. Like I said, obviously hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. And don't forget, we're posting on TikTok and also Instagram, BKRsport, YouTube on TikTok, and BKRsport on the old Instagram. But look, Verrills is high though. Don't get me wrong, Marianne. Verrills is definitely high. Not elite or anything like that, but he definitely is in quality for sure. Rice is glad I found the channel. Feels like an Ipswich Titans fans, nearly none. Well, of course, they're all going to be Broncos fans out there, man. You know, the Titans, Gold Coast will light up like no other city if we ever won. You know, like when we win, the Gold Coast will be the best city to be in when we win. I'll beat the game, obviously, but because the Gold Coast has such an unsuccessful history and the way that our city is set up in regards to like a party town, but anyone who lives here knows that the party town is just that goddamn section of the coast. Everything else is just beautiful. I truly believe that this city will light up like no other because Sydney has multiple teams. Brisbane is like, yeah, they'll be very happy and it'll be great, elation and whatnot, but it's not like the Gold Coast that will just simply light up. It'll be fantastic, man. Marianne says, thank you both for the stream. One happy subscriber here, got those notification bells on. Appreciate you, Marianne. Robert M says, if Walters gets put on notice as a coach, who would the Broncos get if he's sacked? That's a good question. There's not many coaches going around, man. There's not many coaches. You know, I guess there is Des Hasler, but the Dragons are trying to get him. I believe he would suit the Knights perfectly, but the Dragons are trying to get the old Desi. They're trying to get the old Desi Hasler there. So yeah, that will be at least a step in the right direction by removing the coach in Anthony Griffin, for Desi Hasler. But guys, I'm going to jump off here for now. I'm going to jump off because we've got plenty of content, film plus plenty of things to do. So obviously hit that thumbs up button. Like I said, subscribe if you're new around here. I appreciate you guys' usual. Wingers tier list with Hectic Fred will come out tomorrow, which we'll be going through all, I think, 50, 63 wingers in the competition. And we'll probably do a live stream tomorrow night with Supercoach after that finishes, maybe. We'll see how we're going. And then Thursday, we've got the start of the stream. So we'll be here for the Eels Storm game, probably an hour before the game even starts, just chatting away. And we'll have a video that comes out beforehand. But like I said, appreciate you guys. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Catch you later. Shoot!